how I was on the New York Post and featured there. This just happened because I was interviewing, talking about intimacy as we age, and the interviewer just started asking me about my own sexuality. Next thing you know, they pitched my story, which I didn't actually even know what story they were talking about. And then basically the New York Post and the Daily Mail or something like that in the UK talked about how I have energetic orgasms. Of course, they didn't talk about it like that, but if you read the article, and it's linked in the post down below, so go check it out. But I basically talk about how I am able to cultivate and invite and expand my sexual energy to experience orgasms wherever or however I choose. And yes, lately that has actually I've been able to do that without touch. And they started the New York Post one started it off by saying she's untouchable. I am so freaking touchable. I love to be touched. I love cuddles. I love affections. Touch, touch, touch away, please. I just don't always require it. That's it. And so as I have been, people have heard about this, the number one question I get is, but can you really? Like, is that real? And it's so interesting. One, that people, particularly who know me, would actually ever question whether or not I'm lying, as if I could lie about things like that are this in detailed. But two, how come it's so unbelievable? And I gotta say, I didn't believe it for fucking forever. Like, I first heard about energetic orgasms back in college, and that was like, not to age myself, but I'll age myself. Back in 1994, one of my best friends had energetic orgasms, and she'd be like, yo, I went to the library, and next thing you know, you had an orgasm. And I was like, fuck you, bitch. Like, that's fucking annoying. But it's 15 years passed, and I started hearing about them more and more. And then one day I just suddenly was at a tantra retreat, and there was this woman there, and she just kept on like just shaking and like really being in her energy. And I was just like, what the hell is she doing? And I remember asking someone, like, does she have like some type of neurological disorder? And literally being sincere about it. And basically, my friend was just like, no, that's just how she is. She just does that sometimes. And the more time I spent with her, the more time I witnessed how this kept on happening. And and so then I just, I know you're not supposed to really search and look and like try to have these goals, but that was one of my goals in Tantra was, okay, I want that. I want some of that. I want to get me some of that. And basically over the last like 5 or so years, I've been cultivating my practice. And really, when I just define myself, lots of different definitions out there, but when I define Tantra, I define it as one translation from Sanskrit of Tantra is expansion. And so my ability to have energetic orgasms very much is my ability that I have trained and practiced to invite in my energy, sexual energy, get curious about it, expand it, and then allow my body to experience what I determine it to experience. And then actually surrender to whatever explosion or ride I actually end up on. And so I get it. This may sound a bit voodoo, ha 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 ha. And all I remember want to remind people is that that's actually what people used to think about yoga back in the 90s and early 2000s. I remember I was first introduced to yoga from this not Ally McBeal, but Ally McCraw tape when I was in high school. So again, that was early 90s when I was in high school. And that was so zen and foreign, and people were so like just not really, it was so holistic and new agey. So now when we talk about energetic orgasms, honestly, to me, it's how come it's so hard to believe? Just like I often say, you determine your experience. If I want to feel light and airy and cool right now, this is autogenics. This is me being able to have that memory of what it feels to feel light and airy. I'm picturing myself in Seattle sailing and it being a bit frigid and me be thinking, oh, it's so fucking beautiful outside, and feeling the wind coming at me, even though I was cold, but moving and grinding with that spinnaker and feeling that flow. So that now right here, as I look around, now I'm in Santa Monica and I'm obviously pretty warm. But my body was able to feel that chill, feel that breeze around my face. And that same skill that I use, that resource that I just tapped into right there, is the same resource that I use to invite in energetic orgasms. And now that I've practiced it, yes, sometimes when I am at such an elevated state of relaxation and joy, sometimes they will just happen. And I love that. And I welcome the naysayers out there because one, it seems provocative. It seems unbelievable. Just like it seems unbelievable for couples to heal after, years of affairs, or to have sex after painful cancer where so many clients of mine had problems walking. One of my clients had a problem walking after she had anal cancer, and because she would chafe so badly, it was sometimes even hard for her to sit because of her vaginal atrophy, which I hate that word, but dryness and narrowing and shortening. And so intercourse was absolutely out the door. But over time, the more she connected with her body and began to use the strategies that we actually know can help, both psychologically, behaviorally, physically, she was absolutely able to regain and resume her sexuality, not just with intercourse, but all sorts of things. So the idea here is that it is no different. Just like how our body can experience pain and has those vivid memories, all an emotion is a stored memory that is accompanied with a physiological reaction that our body learned a long time ago. And now when we experience something like pain, it is now our protective automatic reaction of saying, you're in pain, you're in pain. What does it help us do? Stop. Avoid. It helps us say, hey, you shouldn't fucking be doing that, dude. What the fuck are you doing? So then you're, next thing you know, you're just avoiding all this shit altogether. The same way, it may feel threatening to you to actually believe that, oh my gosh, she has energetic orgasms. One, if that's a little judgy. Two, but that they're even possible. But then three, that you could too. Literally, that's why so many people do stay stuck. Why so many people don't actually believe that they deserve better, can have better, more, different. It's just about feeling different and us beginning to actually heighten our awareness to the present so that we can then begin to embrace the present sensations that we are experiencing. And so, what is the key to this? The key to this is us connecting to our body. The key to energetic orgasms, or us literally determining how we move through extreme pain, extreme heartbreak, betrayal, deception, resentment, is by first connecting with our bodies. That is so key. So what the fuck do we mean by connecting to our bodies? Again, a term that is so often thrown out there, but nobody really understands. What that basically means when we are connected to our bodies are when we connect to our sensations, what we see, hear, touch, smell, taste. Our five senses, that is the first point in which our body, just by it even just touches one of our most efficient regulators, just by connecting to our body, we then have activated our parasympathetic nervous system, checked in on our bodies, and then have an opportunity to witness what is actually happening, that our body is having this emotional physiological reaction trying to tell us something. And then when we actually take this pause, connect to ourselves, then we have an opportunity for our prefrontal cortex to come in and just observe what's going on, make sense of this, and ask, what do I need? What do I want? And then give it to ourselves. This is the key. And the thing is that when we talk about connection, this idea of, even though I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what do you see, hear, touch, smell, taste? That can seem really hard for people. And this idea, it's called interoception. This ability to connect to your body and have a heightened awareness of your own sensations in the present, your body's experience, what your body feels. This is absolutely a skill. When your body is constantly in survival mode, constantly in stress mode, constantly in a relationship that's sexless, lacks intimacy, in a job you fucking hate, your body is absolutely in survival mode. It's totally disconnected from you and disconnected from everyone else. So the first thing you need to do is to get into your body. 70 to 75% of all of the messages that go to our brain are bottom up. They aren't up here. This is why so much talk therapy and over-intellectualizing actually, unfortunately, keeps people in therapy for years and years and years with very little change. Until you begin to connect with your body and then identify your body's needs, wants, and desires, and then take aligned conscious action to meet these needs, wants, and desires for yourself. This then is what builds the self-trust, increases your resilience so that you are living more aligned. These are the steps. These are the steps to better connecting with yourself, living more aligned, managing distress, connecting with your partner, reclaiming intimacy, and experiencing ecstasy. And yes, that absolutely fucking can include energetic orgasms. You see what that just momentum that just happened right there? I invited that in. You just went on that ride with me. This is how it works. This is how we begin to ride the ride. So I'm going to be talking more and more about connection and how we continue to just get stuck and how it makes sense about how in this day and age, with all of the fucking isms in the world, sexism, racism, fucking capitalism, all of these fucking isms, foster an environment where it makes sense that our body is constantly disconnected. And that all of these shoulds and have-tos absolutely teach us that we don't actually get to use consciousness and our choices. Our wants aren't even on the table. So let's start getting connected. Let's talk about what the fuck connection means, because that's an overused word, just like narcissist and different attachment styles. All these things are really just oversimplified. And there is a way to understand it experientially, intellectually, and to create your own definition within yourself. And that's really what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be having a masterclass in about 2 weeks, June 7th, and we're going to talk all about connection. And then we're going to dive a little bit deeper after that, and that's when I'm actually going to delve into doing some connection work. Because the reality is if you were trying to do my coaching program or anybody else's coaching programs out there, they actually requires you to be at a state where you are ready to take action. And the reality is that most people aren't ready to actually take action. So to do that, you actually need to confirm that you are in a place, that you are ready, that you have this connection. So first and foremost, I'm going to help teach you that. Okay? I'm going to help teach you how to get connected, how to really connect to your body. And then from there, then you can decide, now what do I want to do? Because once you know what your body needs, wants, and desires, you can't unknow that. And that's actually fucking brilliant. Because so many people live their lives with blinders on, their bodies are too scared. Not that they are too weak, their bodies are literally too protective that they can't even explore out. And so, if you are ready and want to get connected, stay tuned. I'm going to be posting. I'm going to be having this masterclass, and then we'll delve a little bit deeper in a few day workshop that I'm going to be hosting. And these are all opportunities for you to gradually build up the skills to reclaim your connection to yourself, heighten intimacy in your relationship, and absolutely experience ecstasy the way you want to.